It's now time for us to bring in DC and the Capstone Report, talking about a little bit about this defense, pump the brakes, come off the ledge. I looked at an interesting stat. In the top 20 teams in college football scoring, the only 3 teams that average in the top 20 that has not gone up over last year were teams that were already averaging 45 points or more. All the other teams, their averages have gone through the roof, including Alabama, a 21-point increase over 35. I point that out because I believe that there's a new standard of what a good defensive game should be detailed at, especially when you're blowing teams out. DC, how you doing this morning?
Good morning, Mark. Doing well.
Hey, I'm going to just go ahead and bring you into the fray. I heard a lot of conversations starting Saturday and going even up until yesterday about the defense, major concerns over Tashapoy and this defense. And there are some things to work on. But what's your overall take on this defense and the fact that Arkansas did score 31 points?
Well, first of all, I think we need to slow down a little bit and realize that Alabama fans, Alabama so-called commentators are the most spoiled and fickle people in the world when it comes to looking at issues like this. First of all, all of our fans are crying for when those 6 to 9 games wanted to see some offense. And I think, first of all, let's back up and look at it from the big picture. This year, the identity of this Alabama team was cast early on in the fall, and it has continued into that. It's an offensive identity. It's a quick strike offense. It's an explosive play offense. Everything that Coach Saban said he wanted and needed to win in these games is in this culture of football, he has gotten now with Tua and this offense, these wide receivers, these big playmakers. So, and when you have that quick strike offense, when you have an identity of offensive team, naturally you're not going to have the same intensity on defense. You can't look any further than the scoring drives. And now we're scoring in less than a minute instead of scoring in 3 or 4 minute drives, which gives the defense plenty of time to regroup on the sidelines and plan and go over what everybody's seeing. These players don't have a chance to get a drink of water before they're back out there on the field to play a second series. So
yeah,
I think that's one thing that we're seeing is just the identity of this Alabama team is not what Alabama fans are used to. It's not what commentators are used to. I mean, it's strange to see Alabama leading in passing categories, leading in offensive production, leading in points scored. I mean, those are just things that are strange.
One of the things
backed by thin defense this year. We're not stacked at all positions like we have been in the past because of the rating us by the NFL and then injuries that have happened, and we knew that going in. So, I made a prediction on this show when we first started before we played the first game that defense was going to take a while to gel and come together, and I think we're right about where I thought we'd be 6 games into the season.
Yeah, one of the things, and I've not counted this, I would like to know how many more possessions the defense is getting because we're scoring so much and so fast. No one's counting that into account. And when we lost to Clemson, we said that the defense couldn't do their job because we couldn't get first downs, and that's a negative. This offense, the defense is getting the same amount of plays and reps, but it's because we're scoring so fast. But it has the same effect on the defense. Either you're not getting coached, you're not getting rest, et cetera. One of the things that I wanted to ask you, DC, about this defense as well is what's the impact of you have all these new piece parts, you have all these new coaches, you have all of those things, and you don't have that bona fide leader. We thought it would be Mack Wilson. How many times have we ever seen Saban try to name an alpha dog? He tried to name Mack Wilson the quarterback, but that's usually something that is earned and taken hold of by the player. And it, to me, and Virgil Williams pointed this out on Facebook, it seems they're still struggling to find that alpha dog in the front 7. I think Deontay Thompson has it taken care of in the back end.
I would agree with that. I think that I'm not knocking Mack Wilson. I think he's one of the best players in the nation. He has a great game. I don't think he may be as vocal as some of our past alpha dog leaders in that linebacker position. But let's think for a second, though, about Mack Wilson's play. everything that Coach Saban has asked him to do this year on his play, him and Dylan Moses. He's not sending them into the middle on these blitzes anymore because I don't think Coach Saban trusts those that are behind him in those positions. I think we're too thin at that position for him to do that. So I think he's actually doing what he's supposed to do. You know, in that front seven, the best player on the field to me is Quinion Williams. I mean, there's no doubt that he's head and shoulders above athleticism, and you just have to watch him on a couple of plays a game and just see how he dominates his opponent in front of him. But I think they're looking for someone to come out and speak and speak up and lead both on the field and both vocally. And I don't think they found anything at that front seven. I agree with you. Deontay Thompson has it locked up in the back part, but I think they're looking for somebody else to come up and help give the identity of the defense a little swagger, a little of leading them in to be more aggressive, I think.
All right. Yeah, we're speaking with DC, and we hold him over a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and get to a break here to get back on schedule. DC, when we come back, we'll flip the script, talk a little bit about this offense, and then talk a little bit about Missouri as well, since that's going to be the next big challenge for our offense. DC, as we were going to break, we were talking about this defense, and Alabama has a big test coming in with Missouri. We have to give, according to Kevin Smith and others, I think I tend to agree, give Arkansas some credit that they had some nice play calls, middle screens, slip screens, pick plays that they executed, and QB runs. He put in parentheses illegal pick rub routes, but either way, Alabama had a couple things that Arkansas took advantage of in the first half. What was your assessment of Tasha Poy and this coaching staff's ability to adjust to the Arkansas play calling for the second half?
Well, I thought they did a good job. I thought they made some adjustments. I didn't think you saw the tight ends or the backs do near as much in the second half as they did in the first half. But I give Chad Morris a lot of credit. Chad Morris was a great offensive coordinator. He did a great job at Clemson. He came in with a great game plan. And I think that was to give Alabama's players some looks, given what I call eye candy. They were going one way, and then they're going to end up going a different way. And that's not the coaching that's happening during the game. That's coaching that had to have happened prior to that for the players on the field to be able to make split-second decisions on how to make adjustments on the fly. And I think when you got a young defense, that's a hard thing to ask for your players to make adjustments on the fly on things that they've never seen. So I think that was preparation. I think Coach Saban said that after the game, that's my fault. It's our fault, pointing to himself. I think it was preparation for this game. I don't think our team was prepared for all the eye candy that Chad Morris threw at him. I think he saw something that he could exploit. He did a good job doing that. So I give Arkansas credit in the game. I mean, we're playing against an SEC opponent that I think has come on and played their better game than their last two games, even though they've lost some early games. So I think Chad Morris is going to do a good job at Arkansas.
Yeah.
So, I don't take away from Tosh Lapoy as much as I give credit to Chad Morris. I think he did a good job. Now Tosh Lapoy made some adjustments at halftime. I think they did really well, and maybe our fans didn't see it, but I don't think the tight end or the back had near as much success in the second half as they did in the first half. But going back to that, I still think it's the way we prepared for this team. I don't think we had our players in the best positions to make on-the-fly decisions based on the defensive that we were in. And I think that was just something we'll learn from. I think it's great. I don't. Everybody's on the ledge about to jump off. I'm excited about Missouri coming in because I think this was the perfect game to have before Missouri comes in, because I really believe Missouri is going to be the most explosive offense that we're going to see until probably the championship series or maybe the SEC championship game.
Right. And I agree with you there, and I'm looking forward to it. I look at one of the things is we have a young defense, and one of the things I look at young players that are learning to play to a standard, sometimes they don't have the ability within themselves to motivate themselves because there's no alpha dog there that's pushing them to be their best during the week of practice and preparation. And regardless of how talented you are, you can't just turn it on because you wear a crimson jersey and show up on Saturday. And I think we're missing that. But we've had two big games, and to me, I thought the defense, other than the busted quarterback runs, which that could be quickly resolved against Texas A&M, I look at how we played against Ole Miss. I look at how we played the first half against Louisville, the first entire game against Ole Miss and how we played against Texas A&M and go, okay, our defense can do this. And our defense, the question I have for you, DC, is how much of this is the fact that we're not acknowledging what's happening in college football, even though Saban told us this is going to be a different team than I've ever had. And the fact of the impact of the offense on the defense. We're scoring 56 points a game, but that's deceptive. We're scoring 56 points a game through the first 5 minutes of the third quarter. And so these stats, if you go back and take out the junk play, I don't know if the stats for this team wouldn't be equal to or better than any stats we've had. The teams have scored down the stretch as many points as they have in the first 2.5 quarters.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think a lot of people take out of the equation the fact that a lot of these points have come in the second half, and our offensive starters are well rested by that time. They're sitting on the bench, and they're not continuing. You know, this Alabama team could possibly put up 70, 80, 90 points a game on some of these teams we've played up to now.
Right.
So I just think that's taken out of the equation sometimes. But here's what we have, Martin, and I think if you go back 2 years ago on one of Coach Saban's rants, he had a rant when everybody was talking about these RPOs and legal men downfield and all. He kept saying, "Is this what our football's turned into? Is this what our game's turned into?" Yeah, about how he got excited over a 9-6 game and how he loved defense. But is this what we're coming to? Is this what the advantage is going to be given to the offense? He kept talking about that. Well, that's what's happened in college football. That's what we've evolved to. So what does he do? He goes out and recruits for that. He goes out and gets playmakers for that. He builds his team around that and says, hey, if that's how we're going to play, let's play that way. So now he's putting up 56 points a game, and he could be putting up 70 points a game if he leaves the starters into the end. He's averaging 56 points a game, and we're holding on average for these first 6 games. And I never like to look at one game. You got to look at the body of work. For 6 games, we're giving up 16 points a game, and some of those are trash points added in. We take the trash points out, I think we're just as good average as we were last year on our defense. So I think we've done really well so far this year. I'm pleased with where we are on our defensive standpoint.
Let's flip the script to the offense. What can you say about Tua other than he's the only guy that could come out in the second half and hurt his QBR rating because he only throws one pass. He was 10 for 12 in the first half, 334 yards. But just continuing his magic. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time there in terms of what he was able to do. What do you see in terms of the concerns or growth opportunities that Alabama has on an offensive side of the ball?
Well, let me just say first, Tua is giving us commentators and radio hosts and opportunities to make up words to show how good he is. So that's how he is. It got to where we can't come up with a word to say how good he is. I'm amazed at what he does. There's no need to harp on that as much, but I know it's scary, Martin, but let me just make this prediction. We haven't seen his best game yet. We haven't seen his full game yet, and that's going to be scary for the opponents as well.
Right.
I think on offense, let me tell you, and I know you want to point out some problems. Let me tell you what excites me. What excites me about this offense is we got players who are blocking 20 and 30 yards downfield to help Irv Smith score a touchdown on the first play. You look at our wideouts, and I think two of the best plays they made all day was those blockings on that field. Jerry Jeudy and Devontae Smith put up a wall. I mean, it looked like they were blocking on a return and they set up a wall. That excites me. You got Henry Ruggs playing 70 yards downfield, trailing the play, and picks up a fumble and takes it in the end zone. Those are some small things that the average person doesn't notice to see that makes a difference, and that's why our offense is clicking on all cylinders. Everybody's bought in. Everybody's excited. Everybody's excited about, hey, I may be the next one to get the ball and take it the distance. We got Damian Harris on that one long drive that we had there, just pounding, getting the ball. And he proved what you and I said last week, Martin. If Alabama wants to run the ball and the linemen know, hey, we're running the ball, this is not an RPO, we are running the ball, we can knock anybody off the line of scrimmage and run the ball. And so I'm excited about that portion of our offense. what we can work on. I think in this game, I can't criticize the offense much of anything. If anything, I think Tua still needs to work on when he hands the ball off and when he runs the ball. I don't think we need him running the ball very much. If we saw in this game, he got his knee nicked up a little bit on one of the dives or one of the slides that he made. I think, if anything, call more run plays when you want to run the ball and use the RPOs to pass the ball. It's about and there really isn't anything else you can criticize about the offense.
I'm going to throw out I still think we have an issue in short yardage because out of 3 times we just didn't get enough push. In open field, other downs, early downs, I think we did a pretty good job. But I still have concern if we have to get a drive and keep a drive alive against a strong, stout defense. I'm not sure we're there yet, but I think that comes from repetition. It's not a panic thing. It's just one of those things that I want to see us get more push on the 3rd and 1, 4th and 1 type of plays. Speaking to DC and the Capstone Report, we're going to come back. DC, I know you broke down this past game, so I want to ask you who were your players of the game, and then also give you a chance to preview the upcoming matchup, homecoming matchup against Missouri right here on the Blitz. I know I told DC I was going to ask him about his players of the game, but listen to this. I wanted to give something real quick. Okay. Alabama has given up 30 points, James, in the entire first half. 6 games. 6 games, we've given up 30 points in the first half. Okay? Through three quarters, we've given up 54. The third quarter, we've given up 20. The fourth quarter, we've given up 42 points. Did you hear that? Alabama fans, come off the ledge, man. Come off the ledge. All right, TC, we're back. I just wanted to point that out. How if you really break it down by when our defense is focused, they've given up 30 points in the first half, and there's not a single game that was not decided by the first half so far. And by the way, those 30 points came against 7 on the first play by Ole Miss, and then I think Arkansas had 14. So I may have miscounted. 14 by Arkansas. And then who else? 13. So I miscounted. I'm sorry. I think it's 37 points. 37 points, DC. All right, DC. I'm sorry. I just had people jumping off the ledge yesterday, and I was just concerned about them. DC, when it comes to your players of the game for week number 6, what you got?
Well, if you listen to the podcast, which is up, we talked a lot about our defense and offensive standouts of the game. And of course, on defense, Quinion Williams has made one of my standouts almost every game, but he dominated again in this game. You couldn't run up the middle on him. He was a run stopper. But my favorite play he made this one was on the 4th down play. Arkansas, if you replay that, when Arkansas has a 4th down play, he rushes past his man and brushes the quarterback away as he hands off the ball and then grabs the running back and collapses him for a gloss of 2 on that play. So it just shows you his individual effort. Again, Deontay Thompson had a fantastic game as a ball-hawking safety in the back. I don't understand. He has the ability to cover so much ground. When any quarterback puts too much air into the ball, it's subject to being intercepted. At one point, the play that really stood out for me was Story launched the ball because of some pressure a little high to the outside. His player was wide open. And from the middle of the field, it shouldn't be humanly possible for Deontay Thompson to get there, but he gets there and knocks the ball away. Great effort by him. And then Cheyenne Carter, another pick 6, be in the right place at the right time. He's done a good job, stepped up. So those are our 3 defensive standouts of the game. On offense, couldn't have offensive in this game without picking Tua as one of your offensive standouts. Again, can't make up enough words to say how good he is. And, of course, Jerry Jeudy and Irv Smith both doing some great things in this game. So those were our offensive standouts.
All right. Give us a rundown of what we can expect with Alabama versus Missouri.
Well, Missouri comes in with a great offense, Martin. I think it's going to be a great test for us. They have their coach has been there a while. He's got his players in. Drew Lock, who I consider to be an elite quarterback, and place the ball where it needs to be placed. They've scored 40 points or close to 40 points in every game, even though they've lost a couple of games. Their last game came down to a field goal. They have a good special teams, good field goal kicker. You got Derek Dooley, a Saban disciple who knows Coach Saban very well, knows his schemes, and the offensive coordinator, I think, can do some good things to scheme against us. So I think it's going to be a test. But as I said earlier, this, to me, I'm excited to see because I think our defense will be more prepared for this game than they would have been had they not have had the talking points that Coach Saban has this week because of what happened in the Arkansas game. So I look for Alabama to come out and really play well on offense. Our emphasis on passing game bodes well for this game because I think Missouri is like 110th in the nation in pass defense. So I think Tua has a great game. We have a great game all around. And I think Alabama wins this game. I predicted on the show, on our podcast yesterday, 49-21. If Alabama lets Tua play the entire game, it'll be a lot worse than that.
So you're thinking that Missouri's going to have some success. Do you see those 21 points being when a game is on the line, or do you see those kind of being late garbage points?
I see us holding true to what we've been, the standard we've had. I think we'll hold them to 7 to 14 points in the first half. If they get any more, it'll be those 14 points will be the second half points. So I don't think it'll be close in this game. I just think our offense is much